At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Out here, there's no one way of doing things. No unwritten rules. And no shortage of adventure. Because out here, the only requirement is having fun. Bank of America invites kids 6 to 18 to golf with us. For a limited time, sign them up for a free one-year membership, giving them access to discounted tee times at thousands of courses. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/golf with us. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Restrictions apply. See BofA.com/golf with us for complete details. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
It's a Minimalist Monday edition of Optimal Living Daily. Identity clutter. This type of clutter is preventing your personal growth. By Shawna Scafe of simpleonpurpose.ca. And I'm Justin Malik, reading to you with permission from the authors. I cover lots of topics like personal development or self-help, mindfulness, happiness, and minimalism. And this one being an interesting take on minimalism today. So with that, let's get right to it as we optimize your life. Identity clutter. This type of clutter is preventing your personal growth. By Shawna Scafe of simpleonpurpose.ca. Identity clutter is a concept I shared in a Simple Saturdays email and had such a great response, I thought it'd be worth expanding on. I shared the story about how I bought all these fancy flours to make this cool bread from a recipe my baking bestie had sent me. It looked like something I would love to eat, full of mysterious flowers and enough seeds to fill up a bird feeder. These flowers were in my baking cupboard for a good 6 months. I hadn't made this bread. I was cleaning out the baking cupboard and got to this collection of special flowers. And they were special because I had to buy them out of town. It took work to get these ingredients together. I wanted to make this bread, but I wasn't making this bread. I wanted to be this person who makes bird food bread, but I never made it a priority. I had a choice to make: become that person or let that identity go. So I gave the flowers to my baking bestie because she is that person. Now, this doesn't mean I'll never make dense, seedy breads that my kids won't eat. I just am not that person right now. Minimalism has helped me change my mindset to a point where I can't warrant spending money and giving space to something that I am not right now. The era of being a bit of everything. It seems we live in a culture where we can dip our toe in everything. I think it's magnificent that my kids can grow up trying various sports and hobbies and culinary adventures. I think it's wonderful we as moms and women can try things and see if they are a fit for us. But for me, it was a problem when I never took action. If my time, money, and space are precious resources to me, then I want to use them mindfully. I want to use them in a way that empowers me to show up every day as the woman I want to be right now. When we have closets full of clothes we don't wear, old careers, goal weights, all the trends, closets full of hobbies we never do because our moms did, because we feel like we need something, and rooms full of projects we never finish, then we need to consider the burden that causes. The burden of identity clutter. First, the physical burden of this stuff taking up your home. When we fill up our space with aspirations, we can't use our space for actual present moment living. Minimalism is about making the space for the life we want, space to create, to cook, to play, to relax, to tinker with everything we're interested in today, instead of our precious space being storage for all the versions of life we think make up who we are. The mental burden of this stuff is real. Every time we look in a stuffed closet or walk past our unfinished projects, we feel stressed. We feel like we have let ourselves down. Seeing these things adds another line to that story in the back of our minds that we're failing, don't have enough time, are overwhelmed, and unable to live the life we want. If we let these things go, we can reduce the mental chatter and make mental space for the top priorities. And finally, the emotional burden of identity clutter. When we have all these things in our home, all these options of who we were and who we could be, it is overwhelming. Not only does it cause decision fatigue, but it also muddies up our ability to get to know ourselves. This is why I call it identity clutter. It makes it confusing for me to listen more closely to myself, who I am, what I want, and what I'm interested in. Minimalism isn't about having less stuff or depriving yourself. It's about going through the process of getting to know yourself and build up your physical space in line with who you want to be and how you want to feel. It's about getting really clear on what is the most important to you right now. This is why minimalism changes our lives. Scarcity versus abundance mindset. If we let go of things, it doesn't mean they're gone from our lives forever. I gave away my cross-country skis to a girlfriend. I donated the beeswax candles I never made but had the supplies to for 5 years. I passed on nice work clothes for a career I retired from. Doesn't mean I can never have or do or wear these things again. It means I'm letting the physical, emotional, and mental burden of them go for right now. I've gotten rid of truckloads of our items, let go of things I might need one day, and passed on things I could save for my kids because it makes space for living life today. And maybe one day these things will come back into our lives. I can't live with a scarcity mindset that there's only so much to go around and I have to hoard it. In my experience, when I live with an abundance mindset that there will always be more and enough for everyone, then I can let go of the extra, the distractions, and be present and show up with all my current life values and visions. I can show up with my current interests and ideas and know that as I get to the next steps of learning who I am and what I want, that the supplies, the clothes, the appliances, the tools, the people, and the opportunities will come into my life. Abundance over scarcity. Letting go who we are not to be who we are. I used to believe that all these things we brought into our home have to stay in our home. We think they hold value and cling to them. Maybe there's some monetary value, but considering the physical and emotional and mental cost of this clutter, it seems more beneficial to let them go. When we let them go, we give them a higher value, the value of passing them on, and the value of teaching us something and giving us more awareness and certainty around who we are, who we aren't, what we want, and what we don't want. If I think of what I was into at 16, it isn't the same as what I was into at 26, and now it's different at 36. If I can warrant decluttering my 16-year-old life, then I can warrant decluttering the unused and little loved items I let accumulate over the past 10 years. Decluttering the excess allows us to change and grow. I also can't write all this telling you to get rid of things that you aren't using and wearing and doing without appreciating how it feels to let go of that identity and aspiration. This is the hard heart work of doing what we know, and rationally, this makes sense, but it is hard because we're separating ourselves from that false identity we have built up to reveal our true selves underneath. I've gone through this work and still am. I know it's a big hurdle, but I also know it is rewarding. I feel ownership over my space. I feel like I'm in control of my stuff rather than the other way around. I feel like a very authentic and present version of me is represented in my whole house. I feel like I'm creating space for the vision of the life I have. It's empowering to create a space that truly reflects the life you want for you and your family, and let go of the burden of identity clutter. You just listened to the post titled, Identity Clutter, This Type of Clutter is Preventing Your Personal Growth by Shawna Scafe of simpleonpurpose.ca. And I'll be right back with my commentary. This show is sponsored by Liquid IV. Hydration isn't just chugging water, it's about absorbing it effectively. That's where Liquid IV shines. Their formula combines allulose and amino acids for efficient absorption, keeping electrolytes in your system for up to 4 hours. It's clinically studied, hydrating better than water alone. I love the raspberry lemonade hydration multiplier. It's a burst of true-to-fruit flavor. Whether I'm powering through a workout or traveling, I tear, pour, and sip for instant hydration. And Liquid IV's sugar-free flavors are delicious with no artificial sweeteners. With 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks, plus 8 essential vitamins, it's non-GMO, vegan, and gluten-free. Break the mold and own your ritual. Just 1 stick and 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. Give yourself the power of extraordinary hydration from Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code OLD at checkout. That's 20% off your first order with code OLD at liquidiv.com. The origins of this podcast were once just a dream. That dream turned into the podcast and business you're listening to today. Starting your own business is a dream lots of us share, but too many of us let it remain just a dream. Don't hold yourself back thinking, what if I don't have the skills? What if I can't do it alone? Turn those what ifs into why nots with Shopify by your side. Shopify powers millions of businesses worldwide and handles 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel to brands just getting started. Build campaigns that reach customers wherever they're scrolling. Plus, Shopify's expertise covers everything: inventory, shipping, returns, and beyond. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn those dreams into and give them the best shot at success with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/old. Go to shopify.com/OLD. Shopify.com/old. Thank you to Shawna. I can definitely relate to that story of fancy flowers sitting in the pantry for months. For me, it could be video equipment, actually some old audio stuff too, certain workout equipment. I'm sure there are a bunch of categories, and that's okay. But like she said, it's also okay to let go of these ideas of who we think we are. I used to play guitar in bands. That's very unlikely to happen anytime soon. But the speakers have been sitting here for about 20 years. So it's really good stuff to think about. Holding on to these kinds of things feels like I'm trying to cling to a version of me that's not here. And I agree, I think there's a mental weight to that. Letting go of that type of stuff could be a way to mute that noise, the stuff taunting us saying we're not good enough. Before starting this podcast, I definitely stressed more about giving things away, thinking, what if I need it later? But the more I've donated, the better I feel. It can be scary for sure, but to me, the freeing feeling is worth it. So a good question to think about today: what's one piece of identity clutter we can let go of? I might put that into this week's weekly newsletter as the question. I always have one in there, and I really like this one. And by the way, you can join the free weekly newsletter at oldpodcast.com. Thank you for doing that. And thank you for being here and listening every day. It really means a lot. I'll be back curating articles for you here tomorrow, so have a great rest of your day and start to your week. And I'll see you tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.